All right, guys, let's get into this wallpaper. I want to start by saying I got this wallpaper from Wayfair. The brand is Mercer 41. It's actually one of their designer lines. It's really nice quality wallpaper, nice and thick, great to work with. With that being said, this was a very challenging project for my husband and I. That first section we put up to his left, we actually had to remove and redo once because we just had too much glue, too many air bubbles. It just wasn't laying the way we wanted it to lay. So we had to take that piece off, cut out our little phone jack again, and then reapply. And then moving forward, we just decided we were going to lay that top. We were going to put the glue on the top and then kind of slowly work the pieces down, which you can kind of see my husband doing right here. This was just the best way to keep everything nice and straight. We needed to keep that pattern lined up, and we also wanted to make sure we weren't getting too much glue all over the place because that was problematic. So you can just kind of see him working out those air bubbles here. We wanted it as smooth and flat as possible because it is kind of a glossy wallpaper. So when you would look down the hallway, you could really see any imperfections. So the more perfect and flat it was, the more pleasing to the eye. And then you were just kind of focusing on that whole pattern and not those little bumps that could be in there. And here you see my husband. He was actually taking a razor blade and popping some of those bubbles and flattening the spots out, and it was working really well. You couldn't even see where he was taking that razor blade to. This corner was kind of a challenge. We actually used this piece as kind of a template. So he carved out this corner, and then we laid that flat on the ground, that piece there, and then carved it out. Here we have about half done, actually more than half, because this side of the wall we definitely used more wallpaper than we used on the other side. And I was just loving how this was turning out, especially when you look down the hall and you see this wallpaper against the wallpaper in our living room. It all just really comes together nicely. I really love how the beadboard came into effect here. That beadboard was already in our house. It was just a darker blue color, so I painted it white and painted all that trim white. And so I was just loving how kind of the two-tone black and white flowers were laying against that white beadboard. This was another tricky area. I was trying to hold the wallpaper out here just to keep it from hitting the wall. Because we did go ahead and glue this whole wall first to try to get this done and to keep the wallpaper sticking around that door frame so that we didn't have any gaps between the wallpaper and the door frame. This is just another one of those tedious projects. I will say we paid someone to do the wallpaper in our living room, and that was worth every dime because this is really challenging and you really have to kind of have that perfectionist eye. Another difficult spot trying to get around that little piece of trim we have next to our fridge. And here is the final result. And I'm really happy with it. I really think it's stunning. It's just a nice pop of color down our hallway.